wrestling fans, from body slams to high-flying plans. Join the chat, hear the scoops. Jump in quick, don't be a stoop. We're throwing down in every match with tales and fights that you can't catch. The Marks Podcast is the place to be for every wrestling mystery.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Chimmel, the GOAT of ring announcers. And you're listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.
What's going on, everybody? It is Sunday afternoon. And you know what that means. So, episode of the Marks Podcast with myself, Gerard, and Jacob, who is abandoning us, of course, as he normally does. Would you like to tell the fans where you're going?
Well, I mean, this is going to be the last episode that I'm at in my Arizona environment. And
I didn't mean about that. I thought later.
No, we're going to go into it. There's a big announcement. This is my last episode from this environment. Going to be in Alaska, but this is not the last environment I'm going to be in on this show, because if and when, I mean, the show goes only 12 hours or 2 hours. Sorry, I mean, I misspoke. I'm so excited for Double or Nothing. I'm sorry. So your boy is going to be live at Double or Nothing. I know the fans are filing in right now, but you know, it's going to be a very misconstrued audience. I don't know. I'm very excited. I'm wearing my Kenny Omega Bullet Club shirt. I'm really hyped because I'm gonna switch it out for my CM Punk shirt afterwards to see how many people get pissed off at me for wearing a CM Punk shirt at an AEW show. So got that. Got my mom. She's gonna be wearing an MJF shirt. So we're drawing a lot of attention to ourselves tonight at this Phoenix Double or Nothing show. And I gotta tell you,
that is a shirt that needs to be made.
I've already made a Marks Podcast sign. So when the Anarchy in Arena happens, and I'm gonna, harass John Moxley to like put this sign up and rip it. It's gonna be terrible. But it's gonna be something. I'm gonna go, and again, I'm not trying to stay the whole time. I just really want to see up close Willie Nightingale. But
you said Willie Nightingale. Did you just say Willie Nightingale?
Yeah, it's Willie Nightingale. It's a different. It's her cousin. But in all seriousness, Will Nightingale up close. I can't miss an opportunity. I really have to be there.
Don't do that to yourself, because I love Toni Storm, but when we saw her live, we found out that her butt is all like smoke and mirrors. No,
you told me, and it's just like I kind of felt that, And my mom totally thinks Toni Storm is trans. So like, I don't know what to do. She's like, wow. Yeah, that's a man. She's like, that's a man, 100%. Like, the first time she saw Toni Storm, she's like, that's a man. And I'm just like, okay.
No.
Because of her cheekbones. She's like, I've worked in the medical field for 25 years. Those cheekbones are consistent with a man. I'm like, okay.
I'm concerned about your mom.
Yeah, no, but she... it is what it is. Like, my mom totally thought that Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso were the same person. Like, they thought, like she thought they were doing AI clone shit. Like, they were like, what? Why are they AI?
So it's basically that Jimmy and Jay were the first version of Dolly the sheep, really? In wrestling?
Well, I don't know, man, because we got
doing a genetics angle in wrestling now.
Yeah, no, but it's sad because like my mom's not even. She was in the era of my dad. My dad was a big Stone Cold fan back in '97, all that era. Like, I wasn't even born yet. Like, I was born in 2000. Like, I was a little thought in my dad's nutsack when during '97, and dude, now she's like, wait, there's no one like China nowadays, and like I show her Rhea Ripley, and she's like, no, I show her Rhea Ripley, and she's like, oh, that's a lesbian.
Why not Jade Cargill?
Why not Jade Cargill? Why don't you show her Jade Cargill?
Oh, well, Jade Cargill's great, but listen, we're gonna go to Double or Nothing tonight. It's gonna be great. Anarchy Arena.
Dan, he might get to see the greatest women's wrestler of all time.
Mercedes.
Tony Khan?
I would say this is the first time I've seen Mercedes live, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah. Where's the music? I'm sorry. I thought that's what that was a cue for Jacob.
Are you tipping me off?
She's tipping
Yeah,
me
I was
off.
like-
Jacob's corner ain't no ordinary space. He rants and raves with that fire in his face. Every word a racket, shaking up the place. The whole block hears him setting his pace.
Well, I'm going to an AEW event. Like, listen, I'm not gonna lie and bullshit like that. I haven't gone to an AEW event before. Like, this is the equivalent of AEW's WrestleMania. Like, imagine if WrestleMania just took a shit. Like, had Charlotte Flair took a shit and like expected that shit to perform. Like, that's basically what we're at with Mercedes Moné. Like, who's she facing? Jamie Hayter, I think she is. And man, I'm excited because, you know, seeing Timeless Tony Storm in person, you know, like I want to smell the potpourri and all the fucking bullshit, like all the weird perfume smell. I want to feel it live, you know. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see from Double or Nothing. Like, it's gonna be great. You're gonna see the live correspondent from Double or Nothing, and like Mercedes Moné sucks, and I'm gonna be there. I'm not gonna be there outly booing or like fucking going off because, again, who cares? She makes more money than I. She could literally flick her fucking toe and make more money than I could ever could in my life. So, again, you're better than me, Mercedes. But, man, this is gonna be a sad match. I'm sorry, but again, $25 for this event. Like, can you imagine? Like, again, this is positive for AEW because $25 I bought this event, and now I'm going there. I'm gonna go get some cut bop, some Korean barbecue, eat some food, go into the arena, and watch some very mediocre wrestling. And it's going on right now. I don't know what's going on, but in the words of me, when I'm talking about anyone in the women's division,
Jacob's gonna win the truth ignites. No holding back, no silent nights. His rage cuts through the darker lights. Every last a battle, every word a fight.
oh my God, man.
Speaking of what you just said, though, Jacob, you kind of helped us lead into a topic that me and Gerard have been talking about forever. And Gerard, I'll let you take over on this, but has wrestling become too expensive for the average fan?
Everything, all sports. And, you know, I guess it's the one thing that I can say Vince used to try and keep a control on the cost, the way he said he wanted to have it, make sure, hey, some sections of my show have to be a family affordable. It's not family affordable anymore. You're running, you're running
is
town for consecutive days now to try and maximize all that profit. I understand you want to maximize profit, but at the maximizing profit, are you destroying the people who got you to where you are? Unlike all the other major sports, professional wrestling caters. One of the things that came to them is the fact of going into those inner city places to where you could keep it affordable for people to come and watch your shows. You keep jacking up prices like this, your core base is gone. It's gone.
Well, and I really think they didn't expect the amount of spike that they had with ticket sales. Like, they have like women like Rhea Ripley, who's viral for a bunch of different reasons. They have fucking Jey Uso, who's the fucking yeet.
Jacob,
like, they're really.
You got 500 million, but you got 500 million reasons not to raise ticket prices.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have a lot of like people who are buying tickets specifically for Rhea Ripley, or specifically like for like, we're in a position now where it's like like it's always been there, but like now, like we're getting in a position where people are going specifically to see Rhea Ripley, specifically to see fucking all this bullshit, and the prices on WWE tickets are so ridiculous that like I don't even know.
That's what I'm trying to say is,
dude, when back in the day, like tickets to like a house show in Arizona was like $45. At the minimum, it was 55. Like at the like for a basic like house seat, it was like $55. And then if you want to pay to get down to the like, it'd be like 200 or something like that. But like now, it's ridiculous,
right?
And it's fucking ridiculous. And like that's why I'm going to AEW Double or Nothing, because the tickets are $25.
But what I'm saying is that you got $500 million a year to not have these prices so through the roof, and you still got them through the roof.
Yeah. Well, it is just like AEW needs to make money. WWE doesn't need to make money. They're making too much money that like they need to fucking. That's why they're buying AAA. That's why they're monopolizing all this bullshit. AEW is not making any money right now. Like what? They have CMLL. Like fucking. That's what I'm saying. Like WWE took the fucking great option with AAA.
So,
and again, I'm sad because again, I'm going to an AEW event and they're gonna have fucking I don't know, fucking a Wankster Junior fucking.
Well, and the wife makes a good point. They're making all this money and firing people.
But
yeah.
But remember one thing: in professional sports, all the time, you can have people sign to a contract, then they get DFA'd and stuff like that. My only thing is,
well, and again, we are forgetting TNA was the first people to partner with AEW was the first people to partner with TNA. They had Kenny Omega beat Moose and win the fucking world title. They really had.
He had him beat Rich Swann.
Oh my God! Well, who the fuck is Rich Swann now? But anyways, like they had Kenny Omega basically bury anything with TNA, and like Tony Khan was coming out here all coked out with his fucking sunglasses. Well, I wanted to help TNA's bottom line. I
was telling Dan, I read a report that Tony Khan came out and said he wanted to start a new wrestling show because Vince McMahon started a new football show. And I'm like, wait, first of all,
that's why he bought ROH.
No.
No, he bought ROH.
Because he created AEW because Vince McMahon brought back the XFL. I'm like, first of all, Tony Khan, you didn't create AEW, so don't give yourself credit for creating AEW.
He paid for AEW.
Huh?
He paid for AEW.
He paid for AEW. He didn't create AEW.
Well, and they're paying for them to be on TV. You cannot convince me that AEW got a fucking nice, lucrative TV deal. Tony Khan is paying for that shit like a fucking infomercial on a fucking Tuesday, Saturday night on QVC. And Tony Khan sucks balls. And that's the thing. I'm kind of promo now. But, no, it's like, seriously, I've cut a better promo than anyone on that show right now. And it sucks, man, because again, we're in a position where.
Well, how do you feel about the Hurt Syndicate?
They hurt people. That's their song. And now we hurt people. We hurt people. That's it. That's all there is.
Recycling old material never works twice.
Hold on, but it didn't work. It didn't work the first time.
Never got a chance.
Yeah, it never got a chance. So okay, this is what I do want to talk about. You got Cedric Alexander. I'm sorry, you have Bobby Lashley, who was such an underrated fucking talent, in my opinion. You got MVP, who's an excellent talker. You got fucking Shelton Benjamin, who should have been a multi-time world champion by now, just by the fucking caliber of wrestler he was in the ring. And you have them with MJF. Now, we all know where this is going. We all know that they're going to boot MJF out. They're going to build to a match between MJF and Bobby Lashley. But there's another name floating out there. Another name that has association with the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt Business, the Beatdown Crew, whatever you want to call it. Another guy that really is just as good as all three of them in the ring. He didn't get the doesn't get the praise he deserves. I mean, for instance, was blackballed all over the world because he was so talented and now has to wear a mask. And I'm talking about El Grande Americano.
Oh my!
No, I'm talking about Cedric Alexander. And he's a free agent right now. How would y'all feel if I know that like y'all aren't keeping up with AEW as much? I mean, even though you're going to the fucking show, I still watch occasionally just to, stay informed. I would love to see Cedric Alexander, and this is one thing I'll give Tony Khan. When he has a new toy, man, he's on it. And
well, here's the thing. Here, I am 100% excited, and hopefully Cedric Alexander debuts tonight because, again, I'm going to see the Hurt Syndicate live and in living color for the first time in a long time.
Is that because they're black?
Again, what's up?
Are you saying in living color because they're black?
That's yeah, of course. That's 100%.
No,
but realistically, I am fucking excited. I really hope that Cedric Alexander debuts here, but I don't know. This AEW audience, they might be weird towards Cedric Alexander. He's a hunter guy. Again, I hate the AEW fan base, but again, Cedric coming out, again, this was one of the only guys that I've ever seen in a Cruiserweight Classic tournament, when it gets Kota Ibushi, they said, please sign Cedric. That was the first time I've ever seen that on a wrestling show. The first time I've seen, people get behind someone who was relatively unknown because Kota Ibushi, had all of his fucking credentials.
Yeah.
Cedric, they really got behind Cedric in that moment, and they didn't do fuck all with it. They had the fucking worst cruiserweight division ever. They had Brian Kendrick come out there fucking conspiracy theory, but this would be like me coming out there and fucking,
This is the problem I have with Brian Kendrick. He had too many gimmicks in the last one.
He's the man with the plan.
I love the man with the plan. I love that one when he had his
man with the plan.
He had the Ezekiel Jackson heater, and I thought that was a good character. It was very reminiscent of Shawn Michaels, if I'm being honest. Early 90s Shawn Michaels.
And who trained him? Shawn Michaels, man. And it's just it's so sad. They had a great story with Bryan Danielson fucking hyping up Brian Kendrick. Come on, Brian, you can do this submission. It's a burning hammer! A burning hammer! It was a great moment. Again, go watch the Crazy Classic, then I'm not crazy saying that shit. But again, it is what it is. We're in a situation where, again, tonight we're going to see the Death Riders go against Kenny Omega and Willow Nightingale. I'm going to have to see Marina Shafir's dirty feet, kick fucking Willow Nightingale in the face. It's so fucking gross, man.
You think there's anything to the rumors that Shayna Baszler's going to come over and work with Marina
I
Shafir? Fucking
hope so, because what is Maria Shafir have?
90 days ain't up yet. 90 days ain't up yet. So
I know. Not tonight, but I'm saying in general.
Well,
what do you think about that,
they're not gonna listen. Let's have Leno on the card and fucking bring her in.
Like I said, 90 days isn't up, so we can't even talk about that till
we can talk about whatever the fuck we want. It's our fucking show.
What I'm saying is,
listen,
90 days
dress her up and make up.
Who's telling you can't talk about shit, Gerard? Fuck that. We've already dealt with a dickhead from fucking the Panhandle. We can talk about what the fuck we want.
I'm saying is, the 90-day clause isn't up yet, so after All In is when we can talk about Shayna Baszler.
Well,
here's Leno.
Coming.
Leno's back and hosting a show.
I hope that she ever watches this show. She sees you and wants to kick your ass.
Shayna Baszler. I'm not saying you're unattractive. I would let if there was an attractive Leno, I'd let her kick me in the face too.
Jesus.
Listen,
I don't think you're entirely gay.
The one thing I will say this about the one thing with Cedric Alexander. If he comes and be part of the Hurt Syndicate, give me the group they go against.
MJF and then the high Jews. You got MJF and the you get Nick Camarado. You get fucking who else?
You know who they get, Jacob? Jinder Mahal.
He's not Jewish though. That doesn't make any sense.
He's not Indian either.
Exactly, but like you know what? Put Jinder Mahal have Jinder Mahal convert to Judaism by MJF. Like MJF, like, hey, this is a former world champion. I'm gonna convert him. He wants to make money. Let's make him make more money.
Oh,
Right,
my God.
by the way, I want to preface this like I'm half Jewish in there, so this isn't that offensive. I love money as much as the next guy. I have a lot of gold coins in storage. Okay,
Now you're saying you're a leprechaun.
I am a leprechaun. I'm Irish and Jewish. I'm gonna stash the gold coins and then hide them for myself.
With no map to find them.
Yeah. All right. So anti-Semitism. What's anti-leprechaunism? I don't know. Anti-potatoes aside, we're gonna talk about this because again, I'm gonna be live from Double or Nothing.
Speaking of fucking talking shit about women wrestlers, did we talk about how Natty slapped the shit out of somebody in a fucking?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Hey,
no, we talked about it was a plant.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
It was a plant, and honestly, it didn't make any sense. Like calling her, like he called her a slut. It's like, is he talking about her sister? Because her
Here's the
sister is the
problem.
one with the OnlyFans.
Well, we
I'm
were
not
talking.
subscribed to, by the way.
We talked about that, but we also talked about wrestling passing people by. Monday, we had a match with Natty, and it just seemed like she
I
wasn't.
want to have
in
a
it.
match with Natty.
She couldn't keep up with the two girls she was in the ring with. And one of them, the sad part, one of them was.
Hold on. Can we get that comment on there? Did Tony Chimmel contribute
Oh,
to
no, I
the Teddy?
thought that one. That one?
Did Tony Chimmel contribute? Dude, Tony Chimmel was fucking. Tony Chimmel was surprised by me because he was like, "Man, he's like this fucking Mark."
No.
In case you didn't hear Gerard, that was a no.
No. Let me do it right. No.
Rhinoplasty. What's a rhinoplasty? I'm so retarded.
It's a nose job.
No. Let's go back to the Monday night thing where it was Natty, Roxanne Perez, and Becky Lynch. Natty just looked like she was standing in place. These other two were just
That's
running
every
around.
match she's ever had.
No,
That's
it's not.
10
There was a
years.
time when
That's
Natty was
10
fucking-
years. Yes, it is.
Her timing was so off; it wasn't even funny. Her timing was off.
I look. This is the thing, and I'm not y'all two talk this shit every show, but I don't. But I will say this: even her gear did not look like it suited her. She was trying to over sexualize herself. It just nothing about
For
her
Natty?
looked good. Yes.
Yeah. Her nylons broke on the pin.
Here's the thing. I thought she looked sexy when she was at NWA and she was covered up. I thought she looked better doing that.
There was a time when I had the biggest crush on Natty Neidhart. It was when she first started. She had the red hair. She wore the green gear with the boots. And
Look
she
up
had
her
the
sister's OnlyFans. You're gonna find that need very quick.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
And she had
sorry.
the tube
But,
top.
like,
Okay?
I'm sorry.
It's your gig on the show. I get it. I'm not really mad. But I looked at her and I watched her.
You're like, I'm
wrestle.
mad, but not really.
No. I watched her and I was more or less like, this is, time is finally, she's getting to that Tamina state where it's like, it might be time. It might be time to just, she's going to make.
I want to ask you, what is a Tamina state? Because
where you're just there taking up space.
yeah, that's what Tamina always did.
No one's meaner than Tamina.
It's like a. It's not
Well, no, Jacob,
it's a,
when you watch the match, you can just see the way the girls are nowadays, just the flippy, the floppy, the flying by. Natty standing still. It's like,
Man, Chelsea Green is the best. God damn. Can I just give a shout out to that? God damn. It's a new segment on the show. Can I get a I'm sorry.
Ooh.
To you, Gerard.
No.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Can you get an amen to who?
But again, like Gerard, like we were saying, I don't feel it goes back to when I talked about Bailey all the way back at that NXT match. This younger female talent is just leaps and bounds. And the thing is, they're doing something they've never done. They're going international. They're finding these girls, hell, in Chile, in fucking Japan, in Australia, in China. and fucking New Zealand and fucking South Africa. Well, they're
You know what
running
I'm
from
glad
South
they're
Africa,
finding? Dan, I hope you guys understand this. You know what I'm glad they're finding? They're not finding pom girls. They're finding athletes. I'm glad they're finding athletes, not just girls who can do rah-rahs and stuff like that. I can train you to be a wrestler if you're an athlete. If you're not an athlete, I can't train you. But the girls that they're bringing in are athletic and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, House of Chayton is working on my AI voice, so
that's going to be terrifying.
But
yeah, no, it's gonna be I don't know.
And you know, I happen to be reading something today about the winner of the first Diva search, and I'm like, who?
Christy Hemme?
No, that's what I'm saying. Somebody, there's a name I can't even remember her, Jamie something or other. But I'm like, who?
I mean, a lot of those like Diva Search, Tough Enough, fucking people, we don't see anything. I mean, like recently there was the one Tough Enough chick who committed
Thank
suicide.
you, sir. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it.
Like there's not a lot of Tough Enough chicks who have made it, you know. I mean, besides John
You know what?
Morrison.
I'm not gonna.
I mean, besides John Morrison,
hold on,
but he's
time
not.
out. I gotta make it fair. I got to say this. I usually ignore everything. I don't want anybody. You don't have super chat. We do this for fun. But if you will hit that siren, please.
Hang on, my mouse is on board.
Shout out to the house. Shout out to the House of Chayton. Thank you, sir, for donating to the cause. I appreciate it.
Well, hold on one second. While we're talking about that real quickly, I got to just look at one thing real quick because I was speaking.
If he starts thinking and doing stuff, then we're in danger.
Oh no, because
Man, I just want to say, the next WrestleMania, like it was supposed to be in New Orleans, but like now
we're gonna get into that. But
I just want to say,
breaking
between
news.
all of you, I just want to say I hope the theme song is theme.
Hey, Jacob,
What's up, Gerard?
because they want to play the horn, I just had to do breaking news. Edmonton Oil is 6-1 today. I just had a 6-1 against the Dallas Stars. I just had a
Why?
Well, so
Anyway, but
we'll talk about why.
Hold on. The reason
We'll talk about why.
Hold on. The reason I was talking about Natty, I was talking about the female wrestlers, is we now have confirmation. Don't encourage him, Chayton.
Theme.
We have confirmation that WWE is bringing back a pay-per-view that it's been a long time. It's a long time coming. It should have been returned many years ago. The first one was excellent, and with the talent they have now, this one I have no doubt is going to be excellent. What do you two think about? I'm going to ask Gerard first.
what?
Evolution, the pay-per-view, the all-female pay-per-view. Yes. What do you think?
Well,
If you can figure out, if you don't fall out of your chair, you can figure out which one you're going to fucking do.
here's what I would love to see. Fantasy booking. You open it up to all companies. Fantasy booking.
Even AEW?
Everybody. Open it up to all women wrestling. You don't have to have cross matches with cross promotion, stuff like that. Do 25%, 25%, 50% if you want to, okay? You have more than enough talent in the industry to put it out there to all companies to say, give us your best 4 women. Obviously, Mercedes Moné would be put on it, okay? But to do it right, I think an all women's pay-per-view with all companies involved would be something special. Because then if you could do that and have it written with all women, you can do it with all men.
Well, hear me say this. If we're going to fantasy book, the match I would like to see, and you may not agree with it, would be Alexa Bliss against Timeless Tony Storm. I think the characters themselves.
No cross promotion. No cross
I
promotion.
want to see cross promotion
Right.
because we have excellent fucking talent, and I want to see Jamie Hayter against Rhea Ripley.
Hey, what happened to Camille?
Who cares?
No, because you could have had Camille and Rhea Ripley.
Exactly. And here's the thing with this. I'm going to have to really give you the rundown of how this is going to go. Now, that's a boo sound effect, because, for all those retarded people out there. Now, here's the thing. With this Evolution 2.0 event, unless you really have a big main event, like to build, because again, this is like women's extravaganza. This is WrestleMania for the women. This is so important that like they've really thought about Becky Lynch, like, man, I really wish there'd be an Evolution 2.0. I really wish. And like Lyra Valkyria, I'm not just that bird girl. I really want to prove that I'm that bird girl on a main stage. And like there's all that bullshit like with this whole Evolution card. Now, are they really gonna go balls to the wall or ovaries to the floor? Really like in this situation. I don't know because again, this is like an all women's event. They haven't done anything all women's in years since 2018. This is the last Evolve show that they've done.
Evolution.
Yeah, Evolution, Evolve. I mean, they're still doing Evolve, but
you guys see?
I don't know. Like, I really don't want to see because again, I feel like we're really. Like Nikki Bella is going to come out.
I'm going to ask you a question, Jacob. Just
Nikki Bella is going to come out.
Jacob, this is directed towards you because there's a little bit of it in Gerard, but he's old. I understand that he's senile. But with you, do you just not like women's wrestling, or are women's wrestlers simply just?
I guarantee you, they're going to have. They showed Leilani Kai last night. Leilani Kai is going to have a match for this show. I
understand.
You.
No, answer the question.
I guarantee
are women's wrestlers just tits and ass to you?
Yes.
You're 24 years old, Dan.
To me, yes. I don't want to see. I legitimately don't want to see Becky Lynch out there unless she's showing skin. God damn it! No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, can you imagine? No, honestly, I don't really give a shit about women, like about showing skin in women's wrestling because that's never been a prominent thing. Like, no one ever gave a fuck about Lita after she showed the live sex celebration. Yes, but again, Trish Stratus, Lita, they were the only women that main evented Raw. People were invested. Sasha and Charlotte, when they had the main event 2017. They had people were invested. People were invested in that era.
But are you invested in women's wrestling at all?
No, I'm gonna go see a Mercedes match tonight, and you got goddamn Skip. Yeah, I'm gonna be there. Fucking chanting, telling her to go botch. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, again, if I really cared, I would really care. But I'm going to go have a good time.
So maybe it's weird because even when I was younger, I liked to I wish they were better. I mean, I
think Mercedes sucks. I think she looks like a if a balloon popped too early. I think she looks like that. It sucks. I don't think Mercedes is good visually, but I'm gonna go see her live, and I'm gonna have it's going to be a botch. I don't know what it is. I'm going to see Willow Nightingale again because I want to Willow her Nightingale. And
okay, so Gerard, do you think you're older than both of us? Is it us being an older thing? Because I really do like Stephanie Vicari. As much as my wife gives me shit, she does have a nice ass, but I like her wrestling style. I love Julia's wrestling style. I'm really a fan of Sol Ruca. I like Delta. I mean, she's Zarya now, but I like the women characters.
Like I've said before, growing up watching the Sherrys, growing up watching the Alundra Blazers, growing up, in that era to where you didn't just have women wrestlers. You had badass women wrestlers.
Okay, a perfect example. I loved Bull Nakano. She wouldn't be what you would consider a natural beauty, but Bull scared the fuck out of me back in the day.
Like I said, you had badass women wrestlers. Women who had to go out there and say, I have to prove I'm as equal as that guy.
Wendy fucking Richter.
You had to go out and prove it. Now, does the whole rock and wrestling come off with anybody but Wendy Richter?
No, because
No.
you can't do. Who the fuck is Moolah? You gonna do it with fucking Moolah?
The only other person that could have probably pulled that off would have been Sherry. Why? Because she had the look. She had the build.
If you're looking about looks, Luna Vachon had a look.
Oh,
The voice was
cool.
terrifying.
Cool
Huh?
as hell.
Yeah.
Okay. But now, when I see Evolution and I see what the promo is for SummerSlam, I can almost. I'm going to call now. One of those 2 nights is being headlined by women, just because of who's in the promo. You're not going to have that woman promoting SummerSlam, and her not going to be out there for something to do with a main event.
Cardi B?
Yeah, it is New York.
No. Cardi B was a fuck Cardi B.
Hey, it's New York. That's why I'm saying that to you. Or New
Cardi
Jersey.
B.
Sorry. I'm just saying is though.
They should have had Nicki Minaj have a match with her. She beats her with her fucking shoe.
Oh, there is some yapping. I thought her and Megan Thee Stallion had something, but but I'm
Megan
just
Thee
saying,
Stallion's dealing with the motherfucker who shot her right now. But that's neither here nor there.
But I'm just saying is though, I think what Evolution sets up is a SummerSlam main event, one of the nights for women. Okay, and what you're going to start to see. I think if Natty Neidhart wasn't locked into another long-term deal, I think she would have been part of the roster cuts.
I do too. I think Natty Neidhart is the perfect woman's agent. She knows the trials and everything they need to do to get women through a match and whatnot. And no, I can't deny her contributions to the ring, but
I think with the way the WWE is going, it's passed her by.
yes.
I mean. And not
Okay.
and let me say, Dan, not to any fault of her own. And I'll give you the perfect example: Dana Brooke.
Well, but Dana Brooks reinvented herself as Ash by Elegance in TNA.
Like I said, she tried to fit in with this younger crowd, but she couldn't get done.
Okay.
Her contract probably just didn't allow her.
Okay, so no, what happened with Dana Brooke is they didn't accept her back when she was good. When she was in NXT in the beginning, she did that little front backflip coming out, or front flip walking out in the Chuck Taylors. I was enamored with Dana Brooke. I thought Dana Brooke was the next big fucking deal. Mm-hmm. She was cocky. She was a badass. I will even go with Jacob and say, the Dana Brooke, if you watch her old stuff, I loved it. But I was also weird because, again, Jacob thinks I'm crazy, but I liked Leo Kruger back in NXT.
Okay, I don't think you're crazy for liking Leo Kruger. I feel like you were the only Leo Kruger fan in like an amount of Adam Rose fans, and I feel like you were in a
So,
wrong.
But what I'm saying is, and speaking of passing by, that brings us to a topic.
Can we get Leo Kruger on the show? Because I feel like you're the number. Like you could make this happen. Come on, let's get Ambrose on the show.
So, but that being said, it leads into the female I put on the thumbnail. And if you remember on Monday, there was another triple threat match having Rhea Ripley, Kairi Sane, I'm sorry,
And Zoe Stark.
And what I saw was one of the most gruesome fucking injuries I've seen in years. A knee is not meant to bend that way. And, this girl cannot catch a break. I feel so bad for her because she's really fucking good.
And what did I say?
I don't know what it is. I felt a little Taylor Wilde a little bit. Taylor Wilde was a big star in the team. I say big star lightly, but she was a big mainstay in the Divas division and the TNA Knockouts division. Yeah. And I don't know, the moment, there's a lot of things with that. Taylor Wilde would come back during the Hogan era, and she came back and she got injured. And there was another time she came back and got injured.
She's a lot like Dakota Kai, who every fucking time she turned around, knee injury. And again, Dakota Kai just got cut.
Dakota Kai sucks because I can't hear her name without Mauro Ranallo. There was a time during NXT, during the pandemic, where Mauro Ranallo was on commentary, and they're I kept hearing, Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai. Oh my God, we got Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai.
Hold on, put Leland's comment up. You are absolutely right. Watching that over again, she may have been, but in the same breath.
Yeah, what did I talk about the other day with you? When you only wrestle once a month, that timing factor, factor comes down.
Well,
And that's fine, but she
again-
has become a consistent injury issue.
Because
It's not.
I'm saying
I don't think it's a consistent injury issue. Maybe like the only time she's been shown she gets injured, and maybe that's an issue with her. Maybe that's an
when
issue
you're only
with her
shown
timing.
maybe once, when you're only shown once every 6 weeks. Like I was trying to say to him, the injuries some of these people suffer, they're drastic for the simple fact they're not used so much anymore. You have no.
I genuinely think like something happened. EO jumped too early, and she jumped too early, and she expected EO. Like I don't know the way it looks at because like Zoe has done this move many times before. Like if you look at like she does this missile drop, like that's part of her signature moves, but. Something happened, like you can hear, like I've watched this injury a bunch of times. Like you could hear she's yelling for EO. She goes EO, and then she fucking jumps and fucks up her leg, and then it's kind of sad. And again,
Okay, but again, what we're talking about
listen, let me just say this: I am fucking happy for Zoe Stark because Sonya Deville, who else got eliminated? Like she benefited from this. Now. She's going to have a big comeback story, but she needs to put that on herself.
Or do they cut her after this because she's injury prone?
I think maybe. I'm surprised. Honestly, listen, we're sitting here talking about Zoe Stark, like something that was out of her fucking control. Like, listen.
I think
so Dakota Kai got injured too. That was out of her control, and they fired her.
Okay, no, but listen. We're talking about someone like Zoe Stark again. Not the prettiest, like again, prettier than me. Like, look at me. Like, come on, look at me. I'm comparing myself to Zoe Stark. I'm just saying, Zoe Stark is someone who like legitimately has a good background. That's what I'm saying. When they put this whole fucking pure lesbian collective, like was Sonya Deville and fucking like when they did that whole lesbian faction, I knew it wasn't gonna last because they were only gonna get rid of 2 of them and keep 1 of them, and that's exactly what happened.
I can't see your ghost book.
And like I'm just saying,
I still can't see your ghost book.
They really shot themselves in the foot with this, like, and it sucked because again, Zoe getting injured is probably the best thing that could happen because again, getting away from the lesbian fusion collective was the best thing to go for her. Because again, I don't know what would have happened, but what is that? To Kill a Mockingbird? What is that?
It's the Holy Bible.
Yeah.
How you talking?
But like I'm just saying, man, like it is what it is. Like we're gonna get the best interaction ever. Like when Zoe Stark joins Seth Rollins' faction, and then joining the Broken Up Knees faction apparently. Because again, we have Bronson Reed, like again, who has fucking like again, Seth Rollins really needs to go away. Can we just say that?
Well, seeing that he's going to bring us there, let's get to last night.
Hold on, I'm not going there yet. We're not done talking about this Zoe Stark thing. And first and foremost, 1/3 of the March podcast. My heart goes out to Zoe Stark. I wish her nothing but the best. I hope she does.
Don't get me wrong.
No. Because y'all have had this whole 10-minute block to say something nice.
Hey, all I'm saying is, I don't think this happens if she has more ring time. That's all.
Again, I'm going to say, Zoe, I wish you well. I really hope this doesn't happen in your career. These other 2 are full of shit, but I personally and my wife would hopefully like to say, I hope you're going to be all right. Because
just so you know, his shit falls a longer track than both of ours.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like,
but no, the injury aside, Kyrie took the pin, which I don't believe she was supposed to. I think the professionalism was there. I think that Rhea and them and Rhea's and them have come out, and Mercedes may not like her or not, but they've all come out to show support. I think if the TKO WWE does fire her or let her go or doesn't continue with her contract, it'll be one of the biggest mistakes they make. But there is some talent there. She has all the potential.
I don't think OnlyFans is making a mistake. Like go for that, man.
She does everything the company asked of her, and she's on the injury bug. That's it. You know, there are people like that. Let's just face it, guys. There are people. No matter what you ask them to do.
Well, look at Cora Jade. Cora Jade just made a fucking she made a post like, "Hey, well, I'm gonna capitalize on all these simps." Like, man, you know.
No, what I mean by that is there's men that been there too, to where no matter what.
Listen, if I could sell pictures of my cock and my asshole to people, I would do it. Again, women have that privilege. I don't have that privilege. I can't be like Cora Jade. Again, no one's going to be, again, I'm going to Alaska. No one's going to benefit off Jacob going to Alaska and sending his nudes, all right? You know what I'm saying? So, like, Cora Jade leaving WWE, sending her nudes is going to be the biggest lucrative operation for WWE that they've had. And again, the Marks Podcast OnlyFans is coming very soon. So,
Jacob, you made him take his headphones off.
Well, that's okay.
You made him take his headphones off.
I never said that this episode was going to be safe. All right. All right.
Really? You have to go there. You have to go there. We got him enough. You got to go there.
Listen, here's the thing. Like, if I have, like I have a bundled up. I double jacket it. Like I have a double jacket.
You know, Trips. He's already Irish. He's going to Alaska. He's done.
No, there is no shrinkage unless like it's like the entrance to Hogwarts. You got to believe that it's there. All right. Well, this episode really just went off the rails. And,
So let's get it back on.
So again, Zoe Stark, I apologize for anything that comes out of the mouth of Jacob Trevor. I wish you a speedy recovery. You are a talented woman. That being said,
dude, one of the worst probably, like, can we just talk about that, like, honestly, like, one of the, probably since Sid, probably one of the worst injuries, like, knee-wise.
Pretty rough.
Well,
it was pretty rough.
Listen, about that whole thing, I give a lot of credit to the doctor to not waiting for a stretcher, just picking her up and bringing her right back.
Honestly, again, like I'm a cynical piece of shit, but like honestly, like here, like when she fucking like her leg snapped, you could hear her scream and shit. Like she was in pain. It sucked. Like it sucked. Like it was bad seeing her like that. Because again, Zoe Stark is really good. Like in the ring, like. And again, what's sad about this is she would have eat the pin otherwise. Like she would have gotten.
Well, okay, so ultimately what I was trying to get to is I was going to ask the both of you, not so much Jacob anymore, because I figured it's going to go with Jacob. It's going to be OnlyFans, but I'll ask you this, Gerard. This reminds me a little bit of Becky Lynch being punched in the face and not connecting, causing ultimately for the rise of Becky Lynch. Becky doesn't get punched in the face that night. We don't get the man character. So could this be similar to, I guess, a male version would be when Triple H tore his quad, came back all jacked, and everybody was like, oh, my God, they went nuts. He went on to win the Royal Rumble, ultimately winning the Undisputed title. Do you think this could be something for Zoe to come back and really launching pad? And
you can understand this depending on the who and the why, the who and the how. Who with and how they do it.
So this is a fantasy booking. I see Jade Cargill holding that belt sooner or later, right? And I see it going to be at least in the next 6 months. Jade Cargill is going to have that belt. Jade Cargill goes on a fucking tear. Like she's going to absolutely start off as a baby face of that belt. But Jade Cargill, we all know, plays a better fucking heel. So what if I'm telling you this? Jade Cargill's holding the belt at 42, WrestleMania 42, wherever it may be. The Women's Royal Rumble, we hear Zoe Stark come out and say, I'm back, bitches, and I'm coming for Jade's belt.
Listen,
I would fucking hope so.
Hey, as in toughness, she's probably one of the top 3 toughness-wise in the company.
No, she 100%. Like, if you look at, like, her powerlifting bullshit, like anything that she's done physically outside of wrestling, like, it looks She's the most legit out of all of them. And it's kind of sad because, like, again, like, imagine this was an Indy Hartwell that, like, injured herself this way. Like, she would have been released and then bada bing, bada boom.
Well, you can't
And,
do
like,
that. That's something you can't do, Jacob.
Well,
So
and
when
it's
somebody
just
gets hurt, you can't release them. Yeah, you can't do that because you got to pay all the medical bills. They got hurt in the
no,
middle of the ring.
100%. But they've done that. Like, once they're cleared, they release them.
Yeah, because what I'm saying is once you're cleared by a doctor only for the in-ring injury. Keywords there.
But it's okay. So here's the difference. Indy Hartwell was okay. My big issue with Indy Hartwell is she was
She has too big of a nose. Sorry.
She was too big for her gimmick. It's hard to sympathize. And again, I love Indy Hartwell's character. I love her. I think she's a sweetheart, wonderful human being. But she was too tall to play a sympathetic character. She was, if you really look at Indy Hartwell, she was absolutely she's a tall, fucking big girl, and she played this innocent little whatever character.
Well, and she never knew that she was going to win the NXT title. Like, she didn't know that. She was just like, all right, well, that's it.
The best thing they did with her is have her marry a serial killer and Dexter Lewis.
Yeah, and, like, dude, now, like, again, we got the Wyatt Six back on television. We really have, like, a weird... Again, like, they really shouldn't have gotten rid of all the people. Like, Indy Hartwell should not have been the one.
No, I think Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell is following on the same path as a Bailey, but I think that she would have.
I would have gotten rid of Bailey.
I think Indy Hartwell deserved the ability and deserved the opportunity to really get teeth into that character. You took someone like Roxanne Perez, is a consummate babyface, does an excellent job as a babyface, turned her heel, and she just shines the heel, a schmarmy little fucking heel. What would Indy Hartwell? Hell, I'll go as far as to say Indy Hartwell as a heel could have went up against a Jade Cargill and would have made it compelling.
Like, they could have done again. Like, they could have really pushed the way. And again, like, I'm talking about.
No, the way was a wonderful.
Yeah.
You know what?
Again,
You know
what a
Indy
great
Hartwell?
faction that was. Again, I think Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae are too fucking corny.
Put a pin in that real quick, Jacob. What is that, Jacob? Gerard?
One of the things that hurt Indy Hartwell, she was too much like one of the girls from the Iconics.
She looked too much like
She
Billie
was,
Kay.
it was too close of resemblance in everything. So by being that resemblance, we already had this girl here. We already had her here.
Here's the thing.
I'll say this, Jacob. They had a group. You were talking about the group at NXT, The Way. The breaking up of that group didn't. Okay, when you have a group, usually you're hoping for them to get to the point where they can break up and watch all this collection of talent go off and do bigger things. Ultimately, taking one group and making it 4 different things. They failed them, I really believe, because in NXT there was a group. It was Candice. The Poison Pigs was Candice Michelle. No, it was Candice Michelle. What the fuck is her name?
Candice LeRae.
Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, Indy Hartwell, and Austin Theory, and
Dexter Loomis.
And Dexter Loomis, and they were a very beloved group. You would have brought that group up as a whole onto the main roster. Again, this is during Vince's fucking reign of terror. They could have done something special with.
Wasn't Nikki the crazy short chick?
Nikki Cross.
Nikki
She
Cross.
was not. No, she was not.
She
was stalking Candice LeRae.
Okay.
Here's the thing with that, like, this.
I'll play with you, Becky. That was my favorite line ever for anything that fucking Nikki Cross did. Is when she debuted on Raw. Who wants to fight the man? And then she comes out. I'll play with you, Becky. I'll play with you.
Well, it's like this thing with The Way was so fucking cool. Like, you have Johnny Gargano, who's a fucking stereotypical frat boy, who is he was a gymnast frat boy. You cannot convince me of that. Like, that's what this guy was. Tommaso Ciampa is his fucking edgy best friend. And then Candice LeRae is his fucking girlfriend. And, like, they had the perfect faction, like, ever. Like, legitimately. Like, and, like, Indy Hartwell, she was like, well, I wasn't trying to be with Dexter, but then Dexter, he went in between my legs, and like I felt that was great, and like I don't know, that's what I was doing. Again, I'm just saying,
it was such a great baby.
Dexter had the best job. Wow, he had to be in between Indy, sweaty crotch for fucking 5 months, like.
It was such a good storyline.
His only job was coming up.
It was such a good storyline, and then from the storyline to develop into the wedding, where no one had heard Dexter speak unless you watched TNA, and he puts his hand on the mic where Beth Phoenix is officiating. I do. Everybody was like, "What?" It was. I showed my wife that
he constantly had Indy's sweaty crotch on his back of his neck, and like he always fucking again. But what I'm saying, Indy sweaty crotch,
Jacob,
biggest OnlyFans name ever.
You know that pay-per-view is about to start, right?
Oh yeah, no, I'm leaving right now. I just want to say, I respect this. I'm going to Double or Nothing.
Check in.
Beautiful.
Jacob's gonna win the truth ignites. No holding back, no silent nights. His rage cuts through the darker lights. Every lance a battle, every word a fight.
So, let's get to last night.
He's sitting there with this.
So now we can go. Now let's go to last night, and the portion of that program, the opinions, are not necessarily the views of the producers of the show.
You love that boy, though. You gotta love that
guy. Let's go to last night and see how it sets a company up for Money in the Bank.
Well, let's talk about that cage match first. Okay, I know you said that that Jesse Ventura was cracking you up and he was killing you. It's not Jesse's job to do that. It shouldn't be. I shouldn't be focused. And this is the thing I was going to tell you on the phone earlier. I should not be more concerned what the fuck is going behind the desk. I should be concerned about what's going on in the ring, and I wasn't.
To be fair, growing up with the man, that's growing up with him commentating. I miss, in a way, the realism of the commentary part of it, and all of it. Sometimes you feel like they're watering it down. You have guys who today will try and get to that point. They've never got.
That doesn't help you though. I'm sorry. Like, look, it goes back to referees. I look at this. The best referees, you don't even know who the fucking names are.
Correct.
The best announcers.
Best announcers could get you through the match with their commentary to bring you into the match. Here's my question for you. Is Jesse so good, he's better than the guys he's there with, to bring you into the match with it? Because Jesse knows so much about it nowadays.
Okay, what Leland just said, this is why I like Pat McAfee. It's not the Pat McAfee show.
Right.
Pat McAfee's all about getting you entertained, but it's not the Pat McAfee show. Right. Anytime Jesse's on, it's got to be about Jesse. Well, I did this, and I was working with Gorilla, and and I'm balding, and I'm a piece of shit who sold a soldier's wife. I don't.
No, what I'm saying is to bring you through, it's like this. I'll give you a perfect example. Okay. Tony, he was the quarterback for the
Romo.
Tony Romo. When he's announcing an NFL game, because he's been there, done that, he can walk you through plays.
But he's not trying to tell you that that's simply what you're saying would be the equivalent of if Tony Romo came on and said, and when I did it, I did this. And when I did it, I got this.
I'm saying he's able to get you into the mindset.
I don't give a fuck about Jesse's mindset.
I'm saying now that Tom Brady, I'll give you the example, Tom Brady does it too. He can put you into the mindset of what the guy's doing.
You know what I didn't hear from Jesse? This is what they might be thinking. This is what they're doing. All I heard was what Jesse did, what Jesse thinks, and Jesse. Fuck Jesse.
But I'm just saying is, though, from my generation,
the Stone Age, but go on.
Because they brought it up last night. Last night was the third cage match on Saturday night's main event. Who was in the other two?
Big Boss Man and Hulk Hogan.
And no, Hogan and Bossman in one, and I think it was Hogan and
Not a black wrestler.
no, I think it was Hogan and Bundy in the other one, something like that. But I'm just saying is though, and you almost had the same move applied in last night that you had applied 40 years ago.
You think that was by design?
From the top of the cage.
Do you think that was by design?
Absolutely. And then you had Damian Priest pummel a concerto to Drew McIntyre. Am I hoping that this feud is done and over with? Absolutely. I think this feud has gone on too far. But what it did for me is put up another respect for Damian Priest to where did they take Damian Priest?
Well, it made me feel less for Damian Priest because I was like, why are you wasting your time here? Damian Priest is actually very talented. I find him a little out there. I'm not a fan of his ring gear. Of all things to not like about the guy's ring gear and his hairstyle kind of just take me out. For what? Horseman? One? Huh?
Braun Breaker.
No.
Bronson Reed.
No.
Damian Priest.
No. Fuck that because Damian Priest has been in groups all this time. I'm tired of him in groups. Let him execute by himself. The man can talk. He's established that.
Mm-hmm.
And can wrestle. Let him fucking do it. You know what? This is perfect because this we can transition into who I do want to talk about and someone who does need a push, who got basically a work out there, and that's Karrion fucking Kross. That's a guy who we need to talk about.
How about he could become the fourth member?
I don't want him to be the fourth anything. I want him to be the. What did you always say to me? Why are we trying to be the next so-and-so when you need to be the first you?
You, correct. What I'm saying is,
look, groups are fine.
You just said it. If you got to get the group together so guys can go their own way, that builds them bigger and better.
But they've already been done and did it. I don't give a
Karrion Kross.
Right there. Leland, thank you. You are a Gerard supporter. God help you. I know that you probably have sleepless nights because you support this guy. But the fact is, Karrion Kross with Scarlett was killing it by himself in the Indies, in TNA, and NXT. And then you had him come over to the fucking WWE. He came in, and all of a sudden, he's wearing a fucking Mad Max mask. Looks like Master Blaster.
No. What I'm saying is, Dan, we just talked about a little while ago about setting up a group to tear them apart to make them bigger. Right now, they can't find anything for Karrion Kross to be part of. If he
doesn't need to be. He just needs to go out there, play the devil's advocate, and whoop ass.
But I'm saying is, though, to keep him on TV more. If you put him in that position to where now he can excel. Because right now it seems like they can't find nothing for him to do other than
go out there and put AJ Styles in a fucking cross jacket, which is like a modified chicken wing. Put him in that and choke him the fuck out there, and then start doing that to guys. Yeah,
but then one guy. How many more guys can he do it to though?
And then he goes out and he does it to, God forbid, El Grande Americano. Next guy. You know you're going to get a lot of Grande Americano references tonight because I love that motherfucker.
You're going to see Chad Gable and El Grande Americano wrestle in the same night. You know that, right?
I'm sure I will because they're not the same guy. What the fuck are you talking about?
One's going to wrestle at Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
And you'll get the other one.
He's going to get the vacant AAA mega title when fucking dickhead drops it.
And I think you'll get the other one at Money in the Bank.
All I'm saying is that Karrion Kross is excellent on the mic, and Leland said himself, has a wonderful manager. Hold on, watch this. Wife, you don't watch a lot of wrestling recently, but you've seen Karrion Kross come out with Scarlett when she's singing that song.
Yes.
And how did that make you feel?
Awesome.
It was fucking awesome.
No, I listen, I get it. I'm just saying to you is, right now they can't find nothing for him, no feud for him to be involved in.
They don't need it. I'm telling you. When you watch, did you ever watch him? Did you ever watch him?
Part-timers, but they give part-timers billing over guys they can't find.
And that was his gimmick. Okay, perfect. You know what? You want to know who he needs to go out and choke out? You want to know who he needs to fucking have a fucking program with right now? Logan fucking Paul.
That's what I'm saying. Take out a part-timer. Take out one of these part-timers.
You know what I would love to see? What I would love to see is they have this match at Money in the Bank. They got fucking Jey Uso and fucking and Cody with John Cena and Logan Paul. Have Kross come out and fucking choke out Logan Paul.
I got one for you because we just talked about the gimmick. Karrion Kross, Aleister Black.
As a team?
No.
Why would you fucking bury Aleister Black this early?
No, have his feud go against Karrion Kross.
For what? That does nothing for either of them.
Right, because to give him screen time. I'm just saying to give Karrion Kross any kind of screen time.
He's on
because
Raw.
you're only giving him mouthpiece screen time, but he has to be in the ring.
Okay.
Put him against somebody. Little Jimmy. I don't care if you got him against Little Jimmy. I don't care. Put him in the ring with somebody.
Okay, so then he goes up against R-Truth because R-Truth just lost. So he goes out there and chokes him out and goes, you took my spot. I should have been facing John Cena. There you go. I've already how many ideas do I have to give you before you go, okay, that's a good idea. He doesn't need to be with him.
I'm just saying something to where he's not just talking all the time.
I'm
in agree
with you. I agree with you 100%. Well, before all this stuff started coming out, I suggested him for Seth Rollins' group, but he is too good to sit there and be behind someone's mouthpiece.
I just
he
say,
is excellent.
Unless he's injured and they're not telling anybody, and by Tim talking, it keeps him relevant.
I think they need to go back to his old entrance because you would have Scarlett come out because she sang the song. She actually sang the fucking words to his Fall and Pray song. Have her come out, have the black wings behind her, and then he walks out like he was doing before. That entrance alone, we're talking about fucking yeeting and all that. Bullshit. Karrion Kross could go out there and he could wrestle a fucking mop and make it a compelling match.
Well, let's try it.
I'm just saying, we're talking about characters and shit. We're talking about people who should have gotten over. He's one of those guys.
Like I just said. Was he a Vince guy?
Vince fucked him. He was a fucking Triple H Paul Levesque guy in NXT. He beat Keith Lee, choked out Keith Lee for the NXT title. Then like a week later, he comes out because Vince goes, oh, I like this guy. Let's bring him out. Let's make him look like one of the guys from Demolition and wear a fucking stupid mask. And loses in 5 minutes to Jeff Hardy.
So what I'm saying is I'll give him credit for being able to overcome that. So now, like I said, unless they're hiding an injury that he has, and they're doing a good job of just hiding the injury and keeping him on the microphone, which, I have no problem with it. But at least come on and say the reason why he isn't in the ring right now is because X, Y, and Z. Because you've got too many people thinking, hey, why isn't he in the ring?
You know what? You made me just think about it. So maybe what they're doing is perfect because we're talking about him. If we're talking about him, 50 other fucking motherfuckers are talking about him right now.
We got 2 pay-per-views going on right now, too. Think about that. You got a head-to-head pay-per-view right now.
So why am I here doing this show with you? I should be watching that pay-per-view.
No, which one? Battleground or Double or Nothing?
Are you really asking me that question?
I'm just saying to you is...
This motherfucker is really asking me if I should be watching AEW or WWE right now?
No. I'm only saying is you have 2 pay-per-views going on right now.
Yeah.
We're not talking about either one of them.
We're talking about Saturday. I was actually going to go watch fucking Battleground after we're done with here. Okay. I was going to rewind it. But yeah, there you go. Right there.
Well, what is free if you got the network? But I'm just saying is the fact of so let's go to how they started the show last night with the tag match.
Okay.
CM Punk and Sami Zayn.
Okay.
Versus Seth. Okay. And Braun Breaker. Everything I read this week, Sami Zayn was turning. Until you have Big Bronson Reed come out and interfere in the match. And when he ran over CM Punk. Ran over
I can already tell you what's going to happen. I got it in my head. Tell you what's going to happen. You ready? You're going to do Bronson against Punk. That's going to be his next program. Ultimately, I think that they're going to put either Punk's going to get that belt, but at some point, Rollins is getting that belt before next year. Rollins is getting that belt before WrestleMania 42. I stand by it, and I'm going to fucking die on this hill. Sami Zayn is winning the Royal Rumble this next Royal Rumble. He's winning it.
Does he turn and go with the group?
No. Sami Zayn's winning the Royal Rumble, and he's going to be Seth Rollins. I think it would have been Kevin. I think they're going to build towards Kevin winning it. They are going to do Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn, WrestleMania 42, and he's going to win it in Saudi Arabia. He's going to win the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see that though.
You don't, because the fans do. The fans have been dying for a fucking Sami Zayn push.
Who's going to be back by the Rumble? He could be back by SummerSlam.
Who?
Kevin Owens.
We don't know that. We don't know the severity of it. He's getting neck fusion. He may not come back.
He's one of these few guys where I don't know if that keeps him out. He's one of those few guys to where.
No, I think you're wrong. And here's why. Before anything else, Kevin Owens is a tremendous family man. Enough so that his ring name, the Owens part, is based off his son. He would, if wrestling, as much as he loves wrestling, as much as it means everything in the world to him, there's a little boy in fucking Marybelle, Quebec, Canada, that he loves more than anything else, that he will gladly say, I love wrestling, I had a wonderful career in it, but that's where my heart needs to be because I need to grow old for my son.
Do you think he could be a producer?
Oh, 100%. I think he can be a trainer. Hey, Kevin Owens can do whatever he wants. He's got a mind for this business that I don't think many people I think everybody sleeps on how smart he is. Best line he's ever said. He looked Jim Cornette in the face and said, Jim, I hate you. I want you to die. When you die, the next tattoo I get is going to be the date of your death on my chest.
I was watching something today, and somebody asked a guy a question. The guy goes, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and I'm wearing milk bone underwear.
It's all yours, dear. It's all yours. Yeah.
So, but from that match, we go to Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green. And what the heck? So from Chelsea Green and Zelina Vega, you get a match, you have the interference, and then you have somebody's nose gets busted open. And then a sick move off the top rope, and that was that. You got the 1, 2, 3. Zelina Vega holds the title. Chelsea Green's probably going to be out for a couple months with a broken nose unless they get one of them sick face masks. What do you think? Do you think they get a sick face?
I've never seen you look so like, oh shit. Well, I'm in charge now.
So, do you think they get the sick face mask so she can keep wrestling?
I don't know. I know Jakob is very upset about this. This shit happens, right? All the time wrestling. And again, we're talking about Chelsea Green. People don't realize that she once wrestled Penta back in fucking Lucha Underground. She's wrestled men. She look. Say what you want about Chelsea Green. She is a product of the business. She is an excellent fucking wrestler. She's an excellent female advocate of where the business is going. And shit happens. She's not going on Twitter. She's not saying all these horrible things about.
No, she's done, Dan.
What?
And I want people to understand this when I say. Hopefully, they understand it. She's made the best of her situation in the business. Anything the business has asked of her, she has done it to stay relevant in the business.
Yeah. I mean, again, speaking of Saturday Night Main Event, when she won the belt, originally, what was it that she was wearing that made you go, I just can't keep my eyes off her?
Wasn't she wearing the American Eagle?
No. She was wearing ring attire that was just her face.
Yes. The old Ravishing Rick Rude. The old Ravishing Rick Rude gimmick. And
you loved it.
Yep.
And you still loved it. Chelsea Green has nothing to worry about with her spot. You know, we talk about all the time how, sometimes it's the man that makes the title or the title that makes the man. Well, this is one of those cases where the woman is one making that title. The United States title was building in prestige because Chelsea Green made the title better. Sadly, I love Selena Vega. I think Selena Vega is an excellent wrestler. I think she's got all the potential in the world, but I don't feel like she is going to catapult that title to the top. And yeah, the wife said herself, if a broken nose can catapult Becky Lynch, maybe a broken nose can catapult Chelsea. But she doesn't need it. She's already got it. Come on, let's be honest.
Well, I mean, like I said, the finish of that match was sick.
Yeah.
The move off the top, that was cool. That was sick.
Code red.
Yeah, code red off the top. That was good. But then, the only problem I had with that is the next match, I'm trying to remember, you had that match happen in 2 matches in a row. You had that move happen in 2 matches in a row.
Okay.
That's stuff you used to never see. Was the same?
Was the other one a destroyer or was it a code red?
No, it was a code red. I'm just trying to remember who did it. CM Punk did it to Seth Rollins. And to use the same move in back-to-back matches, when one gets pinned from it and the other one kicks out of it.
But the difference is this. The code red is Alina's finish. Code red isn't Punk's finish. I'm more forgiving of that. Like, it's like they're not doing the move to the caliber that the owner
what
of
I'm
that.
saying is, though, old school mentality says you don't do somebody else's finishing move unless you're going to do it as a pin. Because
No, think about this. Others have done the DDT. Nobody kicked out it when Jake did it, and very few kicked out when Raven did it because that was their finish. Everybody does a DDT.
How many people drop a leg drop?
Not like Hogan. Hogan's leg drop was different from everybody else's. How many people keep a kick out of Nia Jackson's leg drop?
That's what I'm saying. Everybody.
No, they don't.
Move is a squash.
Now, but when it was exactly the super kick.
That is so watered down nowadays. It makes Shawn Michaels look like a freaking. Think about it. How many people go into the sharpshooter nowadays? In the sharpshooter, they kick out of the sharpshooter. The last person I saw not kick out of the sharpshooter was Austin passing out. That was it. That's how long it's been since I've seen that move put on somebody and somebody.
Well, Shawn Michaels had a hell of a sharpshooter too.
Hey,
made you tap before you tapped.
Listen, it's all the referee's call.
And we know how highly you speak of Earl.
Yes.
How much of his bootleg merchandise did you buy?
I didn't know he sold it.
Oh, okay. You were like this.
Hey, listen, I admit nothing. I'll live longer. But I'm just saying as a fact of when you look at stuff like that, where they have it and stuff, don't let other moves be done in matches before or after the match you're going to use your finish for. Stop allowing that to happen. AEW does that crap all the time.
WWE, but listen, okay, so AEW, we're talking about that. AEW and WWE do something that bugs the shit out of me. A finish is a finish is a finish is a finish. All right? There's a reason why very few people have not kicked out of the fucking DDT. There was a very good reason why when fucking Scott Hall hit that razor's edge, 99.9% of the time, they weren't getting up.
Yes.
Because that was their finish. This false finish shit was meant to be for special occasions. You know that only one team has ever kicked out of the 3D? One team. Can you tell me who that team was?
What about was that Cronus and
Nope.
No.
It was never. No one ever kicked out of the 3D in ECW. I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay.
One team. Would you like to know what that team was?
The Hardys? No, not the Hardys.
I'll give you a hint. It was in TNA.
That is probably in TNA.
Beer!
Money!
I'm sorry. No. It was the Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh.
The Motor City Machine Guns were, I'm completely wrong. The Motor City Machine Guns were the only team to ever kicked out of, and they made it a big deal. It was a big deal, and they went on to harp about that because, and Bully Ray came out and said on commentary, yeah, in TNA, these are the only guys that ever kick out of our move.
Well, it's funny because I remember The move that I remember Cronus and Satin doing was a total elimination, which that move was sick. that was insane.
But that's when moves are special. And now you had hold on, think about this. You had Damian Priest get suplexed off of a steel cage, catch a claymore to the face, and kick out.
Yep.
That's bullshit to me. That is horse shit.
Think about it. CM Punk with the elbow drop to Seth Rollins. Macho Man got to be rolling over somewhere because that was a Macho Man finish. That was his finish. The only person I ever saw a kick out of it was Hogan. WrestleMania 5. That was it. Because that was meant to not be a kick out move because it takes away from the character. You know, it's funny. We had the $1 Million Dream and the Cobra Clutch. The same, almost the same damn move. But it was made to sell both characters. The art of the sell in wrestling today is gone. It's all about the athleticism and stuff like that, doing the false finishes. Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man had 19 false finishes in a match at WrestleMania 3.
Okay, well, think about this. Kevin Nash recently came out and said that the art of the sell is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right.
Yes.
People that were too worried about spots and this and that, and the reason, like someone like I love the match between Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair, and here's why. I don't believe once, and I have to go back and check, but I don't believe once that there was ever anybody kicking at anybody's finish. There was always somebody with timing who got there preemptively to stop the pin until finally there was a win.
Do you remember back in the day, you'd go like in a triple threat match, you see a guy go down for a pin, the other person would come over and pick the guy up, not trying to
leave it. I'm going to watch it. Don't you ruin that for me.
No, I'm saying though, he'd pick the person up though, and by picking the person up, it came across a lot better than always jumping on somebody. Okay, because just by jumping on somebody, the referee should still be going down. The person on bottom is not kicked out yet. So just by falling on somebody, it doesn't break up the pin unless the person you're falling on picks his shoulder up. It just doesn't make sense. So.
Hey. What?
Sorry, unexpected visitor again. But I'm just saying is the fact of the art of the finish and stuff like that, to where in wrestling, all finishes nowadays seem to resemble somebody else. Give me a finish that somebody can have, and nobody will copy that finish ever. That's what we got to look for. You know, the next match after the girls' match was Cena versus R-Truth.
I got one for you, and this was created by my wife. Hold on, I got one for you. The Clam Slam.
The Clam Slam.
Exactly, he knows what I'm talking about.
So you get Ron Cena versus John Cena.
He's the kid.
And in the match, it only lasted 4.5 minutes, but you have the funny Ron Simmons going around and stuff like that. I think more could have been done in that match to make it a little bit better. I don't know if it's because Cena said, no, we're not going to go long.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it would have gone a little bit longer and just to give R-Truth a little bit more credibility in the match.
To be fair, you were trying to get them to have an invisible match with Little Jimmy.
If Little Jimmy if John Cena had started just falling around and doing invisible, like having an invisible moves, I think it would have been funny as hell.
I think you're a fool.
No, it would have been great.
I think you're a fool.
And, you know,
Put your muscle away. Don't be threatening me.
hey, I told you. I don't get violent. I just get upset. No. When
Yes,
get
I
upset-
think I think that's a great idea, Leland.
Hey, you know, don't touch. But that's the only thing, though. He can come across as authentic. Hey, go see Mama. Go see Mama. He can come across as authentic.
Hey, look.
Yep, that's me. He can come across as authentic.
Absolutely, I'd buy an empty box, Leland.
But at what cost to really have R-Truth come out last night and actually come out as serious? It would have cost him nothing. But unfortunately, it was a gimmick match that served no purpose because of the end of the show.
He was there to fill a spot. They did it because of the John Cena R-Truth connection.
I understand that. But you should have made it a little more serious because of the promo he cut the other night. I'm going to beat the hustle, loyalty, and respect back into you. There was none of that. It was like a tit for tat match where almost everything John Cena did, R-Truth did the exact thing. Boom, boom, boom.
The only problem I have is the title should have been on the line. Even if R-Truth is going to lose, which we all knew was going to happen, put some stakes behind it. Make it something personal.
It's not on the line. You should have had him
I know.
go.
Why?
Because then run the same match again a couple weeks from now to where, or but like I just said, you didn't know it until the main event, what was going on.
If that was the case, then I would have waited for later to do this match because I would have given them more time to promote the match and basically have the understanding that R-Truth, with his, sweetheart of a fucking thing going on, he basically is convincing John Cena. He goes, he's questioning. So, and I'm going to get to that, Leland.
Yep.
Is he questioning what he's doing now? Is R-Truth's kindness and innocence as being R-Truth making John Cena go, what am I doing? What am I doing? Enough so that he does. And what a moment that would have been. R-Truth wins the belt. I think it would have been too soon right now to do it, but they should have done it later. And yes, I think the heel run is a complete sack of shit. I'm glad they did it because now we know. We know how it would have gone. But
no, we don't know how it would go. In all honesty, can we say it's about almost 10 years too late because the Cena we're seeing, the Cena we saw last night, 90% of that building was pro Cena.
yes.
So it's like, look at he's selling merchandise still at these paces to where he shouldn't be selling it as a heel.
No, he should. And ask me why.
That he should still be selling it as a heel?
Ask me why.
He's on his go-away tour. This is the last time
Nope.
for you to get the stuff.
Nope. Ask me why.
Why?
Because how long has John Cena been wrestling?
Well, 22 years, 23 years.
And for 23 years, they've wanted this. This is and it doesn't matter how bad it is. If you've wanted something for over 2 decades and you're finally getting it, it doesn't fucking matter.
You know what he should be wearing? The Fruity Pebbles jersey. Wear the Fruity Pebbles jersey. Finally bring it out.
Then you're giving them what they want. He's absolutely he's doing what a heel version of it took me a while to really realize this. He's absolutely doing what a heel version of him should do. He hasn't changed shit. He's coming out with the same old song. He's coming out with the same fucking look.
I love how he just goes out black. No video screen, nothing like that. Just the name John Cena. I love it.
Yeah. He's doing everything he should be doing to be booed, and he's not. And one word says it all. you know what? I think it comes down to the guys like you and me who don't get it, but it comes to the fact that the kids that were Cena fans when we were younger are now adults. He is John Cena. The people that were Jacob's age are now in their 20s, and they were the kids that grew up that you saw in the fucking crowd wearing the multicolored shirts. They were the half of the audience that said, let's go Cena. We were saying Cena sucks. These people in the audience right now are the ones that are starting families, are the ones that are getting out of college, are the ones that are in their mid-20s, and they loved him. So this farewell
what
tour.
you're seeing now with John Cena was basically you getting into wrestling and stuff like that, Steve Austin.
Oh, absolutely.
So the Austin crowd has been replaced by the Cena crowd.
100%.
Who replaces the Cena crowd?
Jacob Fatu.
I don't know if he's going to last 20 years. But
Bro, he is all gas, no brakes.
I'm just saying is though, where do we go?
Not what I mean.
Once December 14th happened or whatever the date is, where do we go from there?
John Cena's turning face well before that. John Cena's losing the belt well before then. And what's going to happen is...
One other thing we got to talk about right now, before we go there, the change of venue for WrestleMania too.
Yeah.
So we had the John Cena match. We already talked about the cage match. So let's just get to the main event first. Now that Jacob is not here, so he doesn't have to listen to us, we were yeeting and we were in the prime of the show.
We were yeeting and we were skeeting everywhere.
Okay. Not a bad match. Okay. Not a bad match. I don't think it had enough time. 10 minutes to give those two guys. I didn't think it was enough time.
Hold on. But I'm going to say this. We talked about before the show started. If you can't give Logan Paul his flowers now, I will say it, and I stand by this. Go fuck yourself. The boy can fucking wrestle.
You know what the sad part is, Dan? There's guys that grow up, they pay money, they go to wrestling school, they pay to get trained. If they're lucky, they end up going into LFG, NXT,
LMNOP.
They might do some house shows. You have a guy who was an internet troll, who ended up making some money on the internet, who wrestles better than half the roster.
Here's my thing. I don't care what anybody says. He loves what he does. You don't wrestle that fucking good and not love what you do.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's my problem.
You have guys who went through all of what I just said, and they don't give the athletic ability. Now, mind you, not everybody has freaking athletic ability to become a professional wrestler. It's a God-given talent he got. Okay? What I mean by that is you can pay your hard-earned money going to the schools and stuff like that. Hopefully do some independent shows, maybe get called in the
School
NXT.
does not teach talent.
No. And I'm saying is what he has, a lot of these guys that paid all that money for and gone through the system, they still don't have it.
Here's my thing. Look, pardon your personal opinions about Logan Paul. Has he done stupid shit? Absolutely. Is he banned from fucking Japan? Apparently, yeah. Yes, what he did in that forest years ago as a young kid was foolish, it was immature, and it was stupid. And I get it. And if you still hold a grudge about that, 100% you're allowed to be upset. But if you're a wrestling fan and you're watching, perfect example, he had a match with Rey Mysterio for the United States title when he got it. He saved Rey Mysterio from breaking his fucking neck because he got under him when he did a flip. And Rey, I don't know what the deal was. Maybe his old age, maybe he had put on weight, is not performing at the caliber he once did as a young man. Logan Paul saw that, was able to get under him, salvage the fucking move, and keep it pushing. Logan Paul made fucking LA Knight, who was not his best in their match, look like $1 million. Logan Paul has gone to WrestleMania, has done Crown Jewel, has wrestled Roman, has wrestled Seth, has wrestled AJ Styles, and done things in that ring, had more 4.5 and some 5-star matches than guys that have been doing this 20 fucking years. And I'm going to say it now, and it may be an unpopular opinion. If you can't get behind a guy like that, who's really, legitimately, he was doing it part-time. Now he's in it. He's in it to win it. If you cannot get behind someone like that, who reminds me of a young Art Barr, go fuck yourself, because you're not a fan. You're a dickhead who has an opinion.
Well, like I'm trying to say, that's why I'm trying to say that. He has God-given athletic ability. He can do things that a lot of other guys can't. His only flaw is the amount of time he's around. If he was a full-time performer right now, I honestly believe.
You understand? It was the last 3 months that he said, "Hey, I'm in it. I'm in it now."
I'm just saying, though, if he had been a full-time performer, especially with the thing with the Roman Reigns match, because I honestly say in the whole thing with Roman Reigns, I think Logan Paul gave him the best match.
Absolutely. I would agree with that.
Logan
100%.
Paul gave him the best match.
Better than Cody, 100%.
I think if he had been able to give that commitment, he takes the title.
I think that there's something to be said about that. I also think that, again, they put him in these positions. They put him in these positions to shine, and he's yet to fail. He is one of the reasons I enjoy wrestling. And he came out recently, and I don't know if he was trolling or not, because I don't think the fans really hate me. I don't hate him. I don't. I think that he's a throwback. I think he does a hell of a frog splash. I think the Maverick character, him being better than everybody, he's got that Gino Hernandez vibe. And you and I, for the first time,
you know what he needs, and hopefully you agree with this. He needs that one match to get pummeled.
Let me think on that.
So the fans get behind him. Because if you put Logan Paul as a babyface, he goes through the roof. He needs to get that match to where he's the arrogant and stuff like that, but somebody pummels him, and he comes back.
No, I think you're right to this extent, but I think he needs that promo thing that happen. I think he needs to go out there and be smug, and someone just tears him down. And just, I don't know, go along somewhere. It's like, well, look at your father. Look at your brother. And just says,
hey, would you say a la DiBiase?
Oh, yeah. You need someone who's able to have that one tier above him and go, oh, Gunter. You need a Gunter match. You need a Gunter.
Somebody to smack the shit out of him.
And tell him, I think Gunter should say something along these lines. You have all the God-given talent in the world, but you'll never be anything more than a tourist. This is my world. I allow you to exist in it. And at SummerSlam or wherever we're going to do this match, I'm going to show you that there are levels. And as much as you wish you were here, compared to me, you're always going to be at the bottom, licking my boots.
Have him get beat down. He gets back up. Have him get beat down. He gets back up. The fans really start to get behind him.
Well, Leland, no, it didn't happen to the extent of having them do a promo and doing a program together. It did happen where he came out there, but I think that right now Gunter really needs to build his stock back up. I don't think that fucking him going out there and telling Pat McAfee he showed a heart and fuck that.
No, what I mean by that is if you can get, because I'm going to tell you, if Logan Paul could get the persona of a babyface to where the fans start to feel sorry for him because he gets beat up so badly, Gunter could be the one guy. So he gets beat down, he gets up, gets beat down, gets up, and he can bring the crowd in with him. He loses the match, but he gets the crowd's respect because he took the beating.
And as much as I wish Gunter could be that guy right now, because of that loss to Jay, because of his lackluster fucking championship run.
But I like what he said, though. I lost. Doesn't mean I'm done with Jey Uso. I lost. I didn't take. I ain't done with him though. And at Money in the Bank? No, not even Money in the Bank. the Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. We get that match for free. Okay? Which match are we going to get?
Well, then I got another. You just talked about Money in the Bank. I got another option for you. Logan Paul wins the Money in the Bank.
When did he cash in? No, he's fighting Jey Uso. He's not fighting Jey Uso.
No, he's not.
No, they're fighting tomorrow night.
No. Logan Paul had his match with Jey Uso. Did you forget it? Did you already forget?
Oh,
Jey Uso just had his match at main event.
Yeah. It's on the main event last night.
Is it Alzheimer's sitting in? Huh?
Yeah.
Is it Jesus?
No, because the ending of it where they turn it into a freaking tag team match for Money in the Bank.
There's going to be a tag team match for Money in the Bank.
That's why it blew my mind, because it's like, wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, they had the match, and it's just.
Yeah, and again, I wish that LA Knight. That sounds like a good choice, but I don't know.
Jakob Fatu.
Solo, no, Jacob's not it. Solo is.
For right now, we still got 2 weeks to go.
Solo, I love you.
But I'm just saying, you got so many things to go. But now to have Logan Paul teaming with John Cena.
Okay, Jacob has a qualifying match
Against Cody and Jacob. Why do I just see Cody Rhodes?
Did you say
Cody and Jay? Why can I see Cody turning on Jay? Why can I see that?
Because you're crazy? It makes no sense. Why would he turn on Jay?
The title.
Make it make sense.
The title. Remember, when you're the champion, what are you?
He doesn't want that title.
When you're the champion,
fine. It's fine. He doesn't want that title.
Any title is the one you go after.
No, it's not. Cody does not want that title. He wants Cena's title.
Yeah, but guess what? He could also win Money in the Bank too.
Oh, no, because he's not in the match. Remember, it's Cody and fucking Cena. What the fuck?
I'm just saying to you, we still got 2 weeks.
Cody is in the main event of Money in the Bank. He's not in a Money in the Bank match.
I understand. I'm just
if
saying.
He wanted that title, he would have went after Seth at WrestleMania. I'm
only saying to you.
Why do you want the fucking most awkward shit to happen?
Because
hold on. You're the same guy that wants fucking the WWE champion to challenge himself at WrestleMania for winning the Royal Rumble and have a promo with a cardboard cutout.
I just think that'd be funny for a month. Okay? Outside the box booking. Everything shouldn't always have to be inside a box. And that's what I feel like sometimes.
And everything shouldn't always be outside the box. Everything you call is outside the box.
I'm just saying, fantasy booking. At least I have a fantasy lately. And some of these guys, the way they're going is like they're going to be dropping this new show next month about how they're going to take you into the production room, how they're going to show you how things come together. No, they're not going to show you everything. They're just going to show you what they want to show you. Okay? Which means it's going to be watered down.
Yeah.
Where everything is great, everything is good. This is how we did this, blah, 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 blah. Which basically means it's going to be a watered down version of a Tony Khan interview. Okay? It's because, you want to do it to me? You want to get me good on that show? Put it on live. Have it inside the box on Monday Night Raw. Let me see what you're thinking.
Do you hear what you just said? Did you hear what you just fucking said?
Yeah. Let me see. Put it on live. I want to see what you're thinking when the live show is going on.
I want you to think about what you just said. You want them to do a show live while they're doing another show.
No, the picture in the picture like we got right here, where you're seeing this, but then you see the producers in the back talking to you about how they came up to what they're going through right now. That way you can't script it. Let me hear why you got to this.
You hear this guy.
Yeah.
You hear this guy?
Because what we're going to get is a watered down version of what they talk about. We're not going to get what they really talk about. I'll put it like this. It's like the NFL version of the instant replay and the USFL version of the instant replay. One talks you through the instant replay. One lets you hear what they want you to hear about the instant replay. Talk me through the instant replay. I like that. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how you came to this decision.
They're making this show to make you feel like you're behind the scenes because they know that's what all fans want. It's not meant to at all fucking let you in. They're not gonna do that.
Let me in.
Why?
I'm just saying to you, so then we can really criticize some of the stupid ass decisions that they make.
Okay, you're forgetting the whole purpose why you and I started this show. You're forgetting the whole idea of why we have this show. What is the name of this show?
Marks.
What are we?
Wrestling fans.
We're wrestling fans who want to know the ins and outs of the business. That is what fuels wrestling now. If you think about everything we've always discussed on this show, what makes the wrestling fans of this generation in the last, I would say, 10 years, is different from when you were growing up, is you thought that these guys were bigger and larger than life and that nothing could happen to them. I go back to a video that we showcased on this channel, and you see Ted DiBiase in the back, I'm assuming eating an egg salad sandwich, because that's what I imagine him eating as an egg salad sandwich, by himself, being a normal human being. It was not sad. It was a man eating a sandwich by himself.
I'm going to bring something like that up. Because, you're going to bring that up, and I'm going to kind of with this. Why isn't all entertainers and sports figures, the minutes they walk through their curtains, why isn't their job done? Why do I have to care about what they do in their personal life? Why do I have to care what they do in their personal life? Get shoved down my throat at everything. Okay. And I'll give you two of the biggest ones. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. Okay. There's one. Why do I really need to care about that? And
you tell me, why do you care about it?
I don't need to care about it, but do I need to have it shoved down my face? They're only people with money. And the other one I'm going to talk about is why do I need to care and know about every intimate detail that goes behind the scenes in any Kardashian's life?
You don't. I don't.
Right. All these people are, to me, is people who got the money to have that blasted out, where you just had a woman go to Paris or go to Italy or Paris, something like that, to defend herself in a case where she got stolen for $10 million of jewelry, and she walked into the courtroom wearing a $3 million necklace.
You ready? You want to know why?
I'm just saying to you,
when you walked into Lowell Auditorium 20, 30 plus years ago, and you took those bags in there to help out Coco Beware.
Yep.
Right. Who were you there to see? Which wrestler were you there to see?
I was there to see the show.
But who was it in that show that you wanted to see? Who was the guy?
The whole show, the whole WWF experience.
Okay, well then who was your guy back then?
At that time?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who was on that show, that card.
Well, maybe not even that show. Who was your guy? Did things come crashing down? Did it hurt inside?
Hogan, and remember, this is 87. So Hogan was one.
Did it help to hide? Did someone hurt your friends? And when they did that, did they hurt your pride?
Oh, my God.
You got to be a man. I know you can't let it slide.
Courage.
Okay. So what I'm saying is you were enamored with Hulk Hogan. Like many people were, right? Many people loved the Hulkster. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, be best friends with me. Believe in yourself. Be friends with Mr. T. Hulk Hogan was a pillar of what society was back then. Would you agree with that statement? If you didn't know anything about wrestling, you knew nothing about wrestling, you knew who Hulk Hogan was.
You knew two guys. You knew Hulk Hogan and you knew Andre the Giant.
Okay, but you knew them. Now, as a kid, when you saw Hulk Hogan, you wanted to know everything about him because you wanted to be Hulk Hogan. I'm sure you wanted to cut your hair and skull it too. You thought Hulk Hogan was the man, right?
Till I got to work with him.
Okay. And how hard was that? How hard is that to watch one of your heroes fall like that?
No, it wasn't that I saw him fall. To get to know what he was behind the scenes, to where people have this vision of these superstar athletes. You know what I found out? They put their pants on one leg at a time, like me and you.
And why did you get to find that out? What happened to make you be able to find that out?
I got to work there.
Okay. So of all the people in all the cities and all the towns and all the states and every country that they go through, how many people get that opportunity?
Well, I understand that.
So you need to take yourself out of the mindset of someone who got to work and see behind the curtain before everybody. But for everybody else who doesn't watch those sheets, there was a time when it was all about wanting to know more about those wrestlers and they never got to. Now
there's too much information out there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Years later, we have changed generation and we are in the reality generation of any kind of fucking program because everybody wants to know what's going on behind that velvet rope. I'll be the first one to tell you that is the worst thing you can do to yourself. I will be one of the guys who tells you should never meet your heroes because you could get disappointed. But that is the way wrestling is built now. Wrestling is built now that kayfabe is the big thing. Do I blame Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, fucking Triple H, and Shawn Michaels? 100%. Do I think it's done damage to the business? Absolutely.
I don't blame them. No, I don't blame them.
Why not? It was their gig.
I don't blame them, though.
Why?
I blame this thing that we're on. I blame the thing we're on called the internet. I blame all these, how can I say, so-called journalists who want to have all the breaking stories, whether good, bad, don't know where the source came from, but they'll put all the stories out there no matter what, for all aspects of entertainment. It's, once again, I will say, nobody fact checks anything anymore. Let me get this out there.
Yeah, Brandon Thurston. And
let the person who is being the accused or whatever like that prove me wrong. Because it's freedom of speech. It never said the freedom of speech has to be true. It's just freedom of speech. Check your facts, get them right, then put out the story. Let the person who goes out there and you're talking about, let them say, yeah, it didn't happen, it happened to me, but they shouldn't have to jump through hoops and bounds to get all that negativity if it never happened to them in the first place.
I don't even blame these journalists because these journalists, we've lived in a society where journalism has always been kind of flawed. There's no more Walter Cronkites out there. There's no more Wolf Blitzers out there to fucking cut it right down the middle. The problem with journalism,
Dan Rathers.
There's a problem with journalism now, especially wrestling journalism, is no one is holding these motherfuckers to account. No one's holding them to accountability at all. There's no one out there with a voice who has the balls to say, for instance,
hey, Dan, I'm glad you bring that up because you would have thought, okay, and as much as you don't like to go back to him, Hogan wins $60 million lawsuit against Gawker for invading into his privacy, his private life, putting out stories out there that weren't, in his mind, the truth. Okay?
No, they were the truth. He dropped a shit ton of N-bombs about a guy and said he didn't want a black man.
They did it illegally. They
absolutely. But see, here's the sacrifice. Here's the deal. You decide, and you're on the path to becoming a fucking international superstar. You are held to a higher standard. I don't give a fuck what you think, if it's right, wrong, or indifferent. That's the truth.
But you still deserve a private life.
No, you don't.
Yes,
because here's the trade-off. You're making millions of dollars. Everybody knows your name. There's no time. Look, unless you go and decide to leave the public space, you are a public figure. You have chosen to be a public figure. You have chosen to make that decision to be a star. Now, There's plenty of people that can go and say, you know what, this is getting a little bit too much for me. I can't take it. I'm taking a step back. He never said that. He was always about wanting to be in the limelight. And because of that, there's a price to be paid.
I'm saying is, though, the media, the paparazzi, how many times did the paparazzi have to cause a death to put somebody out of their public life, private life?
Who's died?
We can go back to Princess Diana. That was, you know.
That there's so much speculation on that is not a good choice. Give me another one.
I'm saying anybody who's ever been in the public light who said, I can't take the paparazzi dealing with me all the time. I need to have a private life. Okay?
No. Then you need to split. Then you need to stop doing the fucking
Dr. D, David Schultz. We can go to Dr. D when the guy asked him, is wrestling real?
And he put his hands on him. And was that right? No, but it happened.
I like the outcome.
What I'm saying is this. You make a choice. Let's say, God, I don't want to see God forbid because I really don't want that. Say this show takes off tomorrow and everybody becomes big fucking fans of the Mark podcast and there's like, oh shit, da-da-da-da. If it happens, whatever. But then I'm going to be like, fuck, my private life is over. And I have to accept that until I decide to say, you know what? Gerard, you and Jacob can do the show. I am not here to be a public figure. I'm here to have conversations with my friend, and I have a few people that come through and watch us every so often. Cool. But the second it becomes something like that, I'll be honest with you. I'll be the first to go. Might be time to step back. I'll just help produce and make videos, but I'm not going to be. I'll let you and Jacob have it because I like doing this, and I'm an open book for the most part about my life. But if I ever come to a point, if we ever got to a point where we were getting harassed in public, I can't do that. I'm not that person. Don't want to be that person. But I can make that choice.
I got a thing in my house today, and it says, it was a quote, "You accuse me of being rude. When was I ever nice?" So, I can make that distinction from get-go. It wouldn't bother me in the least. I have no problem telling where people can go and how many different ways they can get there and stuff like that, because I do believe people in the public eye have a right to privacy in your own home.
Absolutely. And if someone
on your own property and stuff like that.
If someone breaks into my home, I'm going to call the law. After you can pick up what's left over, whether I put two in the door.
Is that before or after you take care of them yourself?
I'm just saying, this is the state of Texas. If I feel threatened by any stretch, we are an armed household.
And so I'm saying is a fact of, in the business of professional wrestling, I'm a firm believer in what goes on in the public eye, and then again in all public aspect. I don't need to know when, where, how you took your shit. That's not it's not up for us. What you do on the television screen that entertains me, just like all professional athletes, that's what I care about. Growing up in Boston Celtics, obviously. My first time I went to Disney World, there was a basketball player named Dennis Johnson.
You know what he sounds like right now? You really want to know what Gerard sounds like right now? You ready for this? I make car parts for the American working man because that's who I am and that's what I care about.
And you know what? I forgot last week to say this, okay? But I'm going to say it now. I don't have wrestlers. I got girls. Girls I want you to sleep with after the game, not when you play with during the game. Okay?
Hey, Gerard, anyone ever tell you you look like a penis with a head on?
But I'm just saying to you, the business of sports, we can all agree it's a tough business if you're a popular star. If you're somebody who's mediocre and stuff like that, you're able to live your life the way you want to live it. People ain't going to chase you down. The Roman Reigns, the John Cena's, the Cody Rhodes and stuff like that, they're not going to have the greatest public life. Their private lives, though, what they do in their private
Okay,
life.
and I get where you're coming from, and I'm not saying it's fair at all, but that is the trade-off. At any point in time, you can say you've had enough. At any point in time, you can say, you know what? I think I'm done. I would like to go into seclusion. I don't want to be part of this shit. I want to just go back and live my life.
And I'm going to give you the perfect name on that list. I could care less what happens in the life, private life, of Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr. What he does in the public eye, we can care very much about.
Absolutely. And what has happened? No one really gives a fuck about his private life right now, other than the fact that they're trying to fucking get this information for a lawsuit.
Hey, but guess what? It's changed his whole public life.
Absolutely. But that was on him. Those are choices he made.
Yeah.
And that being said, I'm going to have a little final thought here. Today, we've talked about the ongoings of women's wrestling. I truly believe me and Gerard and I are in agreement that it's about damn time that we start really emphasizing the fact that these women's wrestlers are really they're doing a damn good job. They need to fucking be highlighted in a proper light. I think Evolution is a good idea for that. We're talking about Zoe Stark and how it's a damn shame. But has wrestling passed her by, much like we think of Talia? I don't know. Could this be the beginning of a big break for her? Shit, I hope so. We talked about Saturday night's main event. And look, let's be honest, these main event cards have not been great. But what we did see is that there is a guy in Logan fucking Paul who deserves your fucking respect. And whether you want to admit that or not, you're full of shit if you can't admit that he's a damn good wrestler.
He was your standout performer last night.
Absolutely. And finally, we discussed if you know, is it fair that these people don't have private lives? I disagree with Gerard, and I think that you sign off on being a fucking star, you're a fucking star. Stars shine bright. There's no turning off a star until that star was to go off into the sunset and burn out. But that's their decision, not ours. You just don't get to have it both ways. Anyway, that being said, we will be back Sunday next week to talk about the ongoings in wrestling. I am Dan. That is Gerard. Jacob is not going to be joining us from correspondence from All Out. I'm sure he got kicked out into wrestling for assaulting Willow Nightingale. We'll see you next week, everybody.
All of you Marks have been listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.
Calling all the grappling fans, from body slams to high-flying plans. Join the chat, hear the scoops. Jump in quick, don't be a stoop. We're throwing down.